I'm about to pull the car up from over there to right here in the driveway so I can work on the V with no problems, nobody driving by, speeding by, interrupting anything, feel me? So I'm gonna just pull up in this driveway real quick and get to working on the coilovers. Alright, I have it all set up right here. Can't wait to put these on, start riding on them, see how good they feel, because I'm riding on shitty ass eBay coilovers right now, so it's gonna be a big difference. I'm gonna basically be raising up the car about like 2 inches to make it way better to drive on the road and not scrape all over the place. Probably another 2 inches in the back too. But yeah, let's get to it. Shake my head, bro. This is all I really got to work with, because most of my tools and everything is at the old spot, so this is all I have right here, and I can't use any of the cars to go pick up any stuff from the other crib, since both cars are pretty much out of commission and can't really drive at the moment. My girlfriend's car have a coolant leak out of the radiator, can't drive that, don't want that to overheat. This car's suspension is too shit to be driving on these roads. I don't want to end up up anything under the car. So you're about to work with what I got. This shit is mangled. I'm gonna just bang that shit back to normal. Yeah, that's harder than it looks actually. Never mind. It's gonna be really hard to do with this shit. And with this car, I can't fit no jack stands under the nipple that I need to put it under to lift the car. Like, this shit's stupid, bro. I can't put it in the back either. Alright, so good thing we have this other jack right here. That is not stable. It's always something, bro. I'm about to say f it and somehow find a way back to the crib to get the 2 jack stands that I need, because this is not working out right now at all. I'm wasting my time. Yeah, I'm about to say f it, YOLO, drive this damn Civic to my old spot and just grab everything I need. I finally got all the tools that I need. 3 hydraulic jack, 2 jack stands, because my car is very low, so I gotta lift it up at certain points to make other lift points higher, so I could lift that point up. It's always good to torque everything down to spec, so that you make sure that everything is put on properly and it's not going to be coming loose at all while you're driving. You don't want that to happen, because that's when your wheel will fall off, suspension and everything. You'll be completely screwed. If you don't got a torque, make sure it's tight, honestly. Stuff you got to make sure you got your other tools and sockets ready too. The 2 main important ones is the 1/2 ratchet and 3/8 ratchet, and also all these sockets that go with it, extensions just in case you need it. But yeah, make sure you got a toolbox for all the little shit that you need, that's necessary for pretty much working on any car. Back it again to lifting it up. Psych! Got a jack stand under that side, so that's good news. Now that I finally got the whole front side lifted up, so now let's get started and just take all the wheels off in the front.
A few moments later.
I wish I got an impact gun. It should be so much easier with an impact gun. Alright, so after you take off all your lug nuts and it's stuck like this, you gotta pretty much kick it like that. Woo! And you put your goddamn wheel under for more extra support. Hey, look at this. Someone actually painted my calipers. Oh my god. What are those? Look at this ugly ass piece of shit right here. Some bootleg rejected race land or something. Can't be riding on those, this is ass. Bro, all I gotta say is no wonder this shit's driving like ass. Look at this. Good thing I'm putting some quality Teins flexz coilovers in this car. You see the coilover right here connected to the fork, and the fork is connected with this bolt into the lower control arm. I'm supposed to be unbolting that while holding this one in place with a ratchet or something. I'm gonna have to use a ratchet and a socket for the other side. Got some PB blaster right here, penetrating fluid. This side too. Whoa, it's finally gotten loose. I guess the penetrating fluid worked. It's coming loose now. I just gotta take it out all the way while holding the other one in place, of course. Take this out right here, and then all I gotta do is hammer it out on the other side. Thing is, don't hammer it out too hard, because you don't want to fuck up the bolt, make it difficult for it to come out. You gotta improvise. You gotta kind of wiggle it out. There you go, just like that. So to make taking out the coilover easier, you're supposed to unbolt the fork, take the fork off the coilover to make the coilover shorter, so you can just pull it out. Alright, so I already PB blast this bolt right here, and I found the socket that fits it. It's already loose. Unscrewing it the rest of the way to take it completely out. Alright, so now let's give it a nice little hammer. So the fork finally want to come out. Gotta kind of wiggle it out at this point. what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unbolt the top of the coilovers again, and I gotta turn it to the side. Word. It's finally out. Now I just gotta pull out the fork. Comes off just like that. Look at these shits, man. These are skunk tools, but they f***ed up. Alright, so now that the coilover is out, let's put it side by side with the Teins flexz, and you can definitely easily tell that Teins flexz looks 1,000 times better, newer, and more quality. It's fully adjustable. You could adjust it with this right here. So I'm gonna put the coilovers on the car with the fork, and then once I put everything intact, I'm gonna adjust it while it's in the car. So you gotta slide this coilover into that slot right there, just like that, and just bolt it up on top first. So now that it's in, I'm gonna just I'm assed out. Alright, so these bolts don't really fit, so I have to go to AutoZone and get some better fitting bolts.
The next day.
So it's the next day. Yesterday when I was doing the coilovers, the 2 nuts that was on the Skunk 2 coilovers that's in the car before doesn't fit the Teins flexz coilovers, so I had to go get new nuts. Didn't have no vehicle to drive because, as you can see, the car is on goddamn jack stands. So I took a moped, went all the way to AutoZone. They don't got the nuts that I need. Went to Advanced Auto Part, they don't got the nuts that I need. Went to another AutoZone, they also don't got the nuts that I need. So I had to wait till the whole next day to go to a whole different AutoZone in a different area to get the nuts that I need. And by the way, when I kept saying bolts earlier on in the video, I meant nuts. I don't know why I keep getting it mixed up. Yeah, since we got the nuts that fit now that I just bought from AutoZone, let's get back into installing the coilovers. Yeah, this is dirty as hell. I'm about to clean everything up a little bit and then put the coilovers in for 100% flush fitment. Alright, it's all cleaned up now. There's a lot of paint chips and a little bit of rust, but it's whatever. Slide in your coilovers and start screwing on the nut, and it fits perfectly, so we smooth. Tighten it some more. It's just enough. Well, I'm very upset right now because I finished the whole other left side, and I thought I was recording the whole time. I guess the fucking GoPro didn't register when I pressed the recording button, which is gonna cause me to have to re-explain it on the right side. At least I get a do-over after I already know what I'm doing though. Put the wheel under the car, extra security. So what we're gonna do first is unbolt this bolt right here that tightens the fork onto the coilover. Unbolt this bolt right here that connects the fork into the low control arm. So we're gonna unbolt this first, unbolt this second. Alright, so let's unbolt this first. It's gonna be a little tight. Make sure you take the bolt completely out so that the fork is way easier to take off the coilover. Alright, now that it's out, you move on to this bolt right here. And then you spray the other side too, just to make it easier for yourself. So after you completely take out this bolt right here and completely take out this bolt, the rest is pretty much easy. You gotta use a hammer or a mallet and just tap this off. It came off a little bit, you gotta tap it off the rest of the way. It's pretty much off now. Now all I gotta do is unscrew the top and gotta wiggle everything out. Gotta unscrew these 2 nuts on the top mount of the coilover. After you loosen this nut, you can just pretty much pull it right off. So after everything's loose, you can pretty much push it down. So you push it down while pulling the coilover up, and then the fork down and just wiggle it out, and it comes right out just like that. And same as the other one, this one's completely fucked up, definitely trash. And you just gotta slide the fork out now. Alright, so we got the new coilovers, Teins flexz. You go and slip it in like the way we took out the coilover. And then you're supposed to screw in the nut from the top to keep it in place. Slide it in, and after that you just slide it right into the coilover. You might have to tap it in with a hammer. Tap it in all the way. And as you can see right here, the fork doesn't line up with the lower control arm, so you need a hydraulic jack to lift up the lower control arm so that the 2 holes align to put the bolt back in. Make sure you align it as you push it up. Make sure you watch the hole too so that it aligns perfectly while you jack it up. So now that it's jacked up and aligned, you gotta put the bolt right through the hole. Sometimes you might have to tap it in with a hammer. Other times you gotta make sure it goes in the hole. There you go, just like that. And you tighten this nut right here to keep the bolt in place and tighten the bolt. So for this nut right here, you need a 17mm socket. So same as before, you hold this one in place while you tighten this nut in. I'm not gonna use the extender, that's too much. So as you're holding the other ratchet, you're tightening this one on the left side. Keep on tightening it till you feel like it's nice and tight. So we tighten this, put the bolt back in, tighten this bolt that connects the fork to the load control arm, tighten the top of the coilover through the engine bay. So yeah, your coilover is now installed. All you gotta do now is just adjust how low or how you want the car. Whoa, my dumbass forgot to clean that, so I'm gonna clean that right now. And now it's all clean. All I do now is just bolt everything back in on the top. So the thing is, these coilovers set to a certain height from Teins already. So I'm gonna put the wheels back on, put the car back on the ground, see how low or high the car is already sitting, and decide if I wanna raise it or drop it a little bit more. So my dumbass forgot to torque everything down. These two bolts right here, you're supposed to torque it down to 40 foot-pounds, and you're supposed to use a 17mm socket. Alright, and that's good. Those are good too. The bolt that tightens the fork onto the coilover is 35 foot-pounds. So after I do 35 foot-pounds on this one, I'm gonna do 50 foot-pounds on this one. That's good. 50 foot-pounds. But of course, make sure to hold the other side of the bolt in place. There you go, perfect. Alright, so everything is all done. Torque down the spec and everything. At first I had to take the whole wheel off on both sides to torque everything down and put the wheels back on, and pretty much now it's too late, so I'm gonna resume everything tomorrow. Alright, so finally took out all the jack stands that was holding up the car. I got a hydraulic jack under to hold up the car, so I could just start releasing the hydraulic jack and the car will slowly drop down. So you guys will see how the car is sitting. I'm gonna drop the car now. Oh, we good. And the jack fits right into the car too. Perfect. Oh shit, that's looking nice right now. That fitment is looking fire. It's looking comfortable to ride on, that's for sure. Let's check the other side. Ooh, got a little gap, but it's better than no gap. No gap means it's more uncomfortable. I'm gonna definitely be lowering the car a little bit more after I get my SI rims on. So yeah, let's test that out at the end of the video after I finish the rears. Because look at the rear right now. The rear is way too low right now. That does not look comfortable at all. Look like I'm gonna bash my whole fender in if I hit a bad bump.
One eternity later.
Yo, back at it again to continue my coilover install, but this time for the rear. The front is looking pretty nice. You know what I'm saying? It's like just dropped enough for it to be comfortable driving on the streets. Even if there's bumps and stuff like that, we'll be able to absorb it without taking off the fender, even when it's set on soft. But the rear, on the other hand, is tucked into the car. You don't want that, because if it's tucked in the car, you have to make the coilovers a lot stiffer, which makes the ride a lot more uncomfortable. So once I put the new coilover in, I'm gonna set it to softer, and I'm gonna raise it up a little bit so it's more comfortable to drive on. Today, it's gonna be a lot easier because I got this jack stand. Low profile 3-ton jack stand. It lifts up a lot faster and it can lift a lot lower. So I'm not going to be struggling with like 3-4 different jack stands just to lift the car. This one is just enough. So it's been about like 3 weeks after I first started the coilover install. The car's been in and out the shop a lot and I've been busy, so I wasn't able to actually get back to it that soon. But today I'm gonna be finishing it up and let's see how it drives. Let's get started, but before lifting the car, I'm gonna break all the lug nuts loose, so it's not gonna be a struggle once I lift the car. Alright, so all the lug nuts is loosened. It's gonna be a lot easier once I lift up the car to take off. So alright, let's just lift up the car now. Now that the car is lifted up, let's take off the wheel. Let's get started. So first off, taking off these shitty ass coilovers that are completely rusting off. Alright, so yeah, you're supposed to take this bolt out right here. It's a 14mm bolt. Just loosen it, take it out completely. Let's do that right now. Alright, so before you unbolt it, of course you're gonna have the PB blaster to loosen it up, make it a lot easier for yourself. So with the front, you're supposed to hold the nut in place while you unbolt the bolt. But in this case, it don't have a nut. The fork of the coilover has like a built-in welded nut, so you're just supposed to unbolt this. That's it. You don't gotta hold nothing in place. But let's PB blast it. Now just let it sit for a few minutes so it'll actually penetrate the rust and loosen the bolt. It's been about 5 minutes. I'm gonna start loosening it now. It's 14mm, like I said. It's gonna be tight the whole way, but you know, you gotta keep on loosening it until it comes out. Alright, so now that I fully loosened this bolt, just pull it out now. There you go. So what I'm gonna have to do is loosen the nuts that's on top of the coilover that's in the trunk. But the trunk is mad full and dirty, so it's gonna be more difficult doing that. So let me clean this up real quick. All done. Wow, looks way more spacious now. Got a whole bunch of wires from the original owner wiring up subs and amplifiers, I guess. It's a lot more spacious. I had mad stuff in my car, yo. Look at this. I have a whole car cover. Put that aside real quick, and this is all the stuff that was in my car. I got old original intake from my old engine. Got like 2 jack stands, windshield wipers, power steering pump, and steering wheel logs. 2 jumper kits. Why the hell would you need 2 jumper kits? I don't even know what's in there. And all that. All this stuff probably weighed like more than like 70 pounds. So my car should definitely be a lot faster now. Well, not a lot faster, but faster. And I forgot to mention, this SI wheel was also in my trunk too for whatever reason. I'm not sure why it's there. This shit's pretty heavy as it is. Yeah, now that we took all of this out, let's get back to loosening the nuts on the coilovers. All right, so the top of the coilover should be back here. Just gotta pull this. Oh, just came right out. What the hell? It should be these 2 bolts right here, one over here and one behind. But what the fuck is this? I think that's for the strut. The original owner probably had like a strut come on from here to over there, like, or some kind of roll cage, who knows. But I'm taking it off. I don't need it. I'm not gonna track the car, not that I know of yet. So let's take out those nuts. All right, so the 14mm socket fits on the nut, so let's start taking it off. Should be loose enough to hand loosen now. Just one. The second one. Take this shit off. Don't need that. All right, so now that the top of the coilover is completely loosened from the top, let's see if we can take the coilover out. Gotta kick the whole rotor assembly down while trying to pull this out. You can have somebody kick it down, or you can kick it down or push it down as you pull it out. All right, now pulled it out. Let's see if we can finagle it out. Oh, there you go. Comes right out. Damn, son.
Jesus Christ.
These are the worst than the fronts. As the thing is, most of the time people will have to take out the lower control arm, take this bolt out, drop the lower control arm down so that they have way more clearance to take out their stop shocks, because it's a lot longer. But since my car is very low on coilovers as it is, coilover is a lot shorter, so it's easier to pull out, so I don't need to take out this bolt right here, but most of the time you do. All right, now let's shove in a new Teins Flex Z coilovers without adjusting it, because they already come at a good height from factory. There you go, and it comes right in. Now you gotta push it up and then completely screw it in tight from the top so that you can tighten everything else after. But you know what I'm gonna do though? I'm gonna use one of the hydraulic jacks to push up the assembly so that it pushes the coilover straight up, and it makes it way easier for me to screw in the top of the coilover. So tighten it down to at least 55 to 60 foot-pounds of torque so that it's nice and tight and it's not gonna come loose at all. When it comes to suspension parts, you want it to be nice and tight. So but the thing is, with these thread bolts is a lot longer, so I needed a extended socket, 14mm socket, so I could be able to fit on top of it and screw it in without the socket not fitting. So since we finished this, let's go back down to the coilover and tighten the last bolt to completely install the coilover in. Alright, so with this bolt that we had to put back in, it goes through a bushing, so you have to grease it up. This bolt right here, you have to grease it up before you put it in so that it's nice and lubricated. Once it go in the bushing, it wouldn't mess up the bushing. Alright, so the easiest way to put this bolt in is if you align the coilover to the hole and you jack it up. Jack up the low control arm so it could fit perfectly, and just slide the bolt right in. Now just slide the bolt in. Oops. Just slide it right in and start screwing it in. Alright, so tighten it in with the 14mm socket with the ratchet and just tighten it down. Alright, so before completely tightening it in and torquing it down to spec, you should put the suspension under load before tightening it down to spec into the bushing, because bushings could get damaged if you tighten down the bolt without actually putting load on the suspension. Car puts a lot more weight on the bushings on a daily basis, so you got to have some kind of load. Once you start driving, the bushings wouldn't prematurely wear out. So yeah, let's just lift this up, lift it up until it's slightly off the main jack that's holding up the car. Alright, so once it's slightly lifted off the main jack that's holding up the car, you could tighten down the bolt and torque it to spec and everything. Let's completely tighten it down and torque it down to spec. Gotta put everything back in and just test drive the car on new coilovers. You can start releasing the jack that's holding up the lower control arm. Alright, now that it's done, let's throw on the wheel. Alright, now let's slap the wheel on. Alright, so now that the wheel is in, make sure to torque down all the lug nuts and everything to 100 foot-pounds. And make sure you move everything out the way to make it safe, to lower the car now, and see how it sits. And you see in 3, 2, 1. And that is the finished product. And it's sitting really nice right now. Nice and flush. Not too dropped, not too raised, not that much of a gap, but it's not also getting tucked into the car. So that should be great daily driving fitment. Alright, so front coilover is all done. The rear coilover is all done. It's sitting way better now, not too low. It's not tucked into the car. And I already went ahead and did the other side too. And then it's looking really nice right now. On these rims, it looks really flush. So yeah, got this side done. Front is already done. Now the rear is all done. Let's go and test it out. My girlfriend over here really painting all her interior parts, doing a headline, and she really putting in work right now. But yeah, let's see how the Coilovers is riding. Just a quick review. Alright, first we're gonna see if the car could even get out the driveway. Alright, so now I'm about to adjust all the dampeners all the way to soft and 6 to the right from soft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna set that to all of the coilovers.
How's it looking?
And see how it drives and if I should make it softer or more stiff. So I'm about to go to AutoZone, grab some paint for my girlfriend. This is the best opportunity to test out the coilovers, see how they ride. And I'm gonna mount up the camera so you be able to see as much as you can and my reaction and all that. Yo, the car feels a shit ton lighter. It's crazy. It feels mad comfortable so far. I'm not used to it being this comfortable. Oh yeah, it feels great. I didn't even hit any bad bumps yet, but so far, like the little bumps and stuff, it feels way better than it did before. Yeah, everybody's out tonight. Damn, that's the thing about living in the city. Shit feels like it's out. With all the stuff out of the trunk, it feels great. It's wild. Yeah, all the bumps is being absorbed so well. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! The suspension feels amazing. Phenomenal. So far. I can't really say for sure yet until I actually hit some bumps. Yeah, it's absorbing it. I hit a few. Oh yeah, it's absorbing it, all of it. I am not used to this at all. Amazing. Everything that I hit so far was absorbed so perfectly that it felt so comfortable. I felt like I was riding on clouds. So far in the EK Civic, I haven't felt suspension this good before. So far, I've been in probably like 4. One has stock suspension. I'm not sure what the other one got, but some Coilovers. Alright, it's dark as hell now. That's it for the review. For right now, the Coilovers feel phenomenal. They feel really good, really comfortable. It doesn't bounce too much, but it's not too stiff either. It absorbs all the impact perfectly well. So far, it's a really comfortable ride. But that's it for this review. I'm gonna have a full 1 week review, a week of riding on these coilovers, and I'll make a video about it so you guys see how the Teins Flex Z are. All right, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment, whatever suggestion you want me to do next. All right, peace.